Measure G,
Mm-hmm.
which for people listening is an effort to change city government from general law to a charter city.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think are the benefits or drawbacks of charter city versus general law, and do you support charter?
I absolutely support charter. Absolutely. We, again, engaged the community in studying the issue, and it was, the community's recommendation that the city move forward with a charter form of government. It was unanimously endorsed also by the city council. We spent a lot of time, some people think maybe a little too much time, studying the issue before moving forward, but we could see nothing but upside for the city of El Centro in terms of local control. And Brad, the thing that I point to most recently is, again, let's look at economic stability in the city of El Centro versus the goofiness in Sacramento and the dysfunction there, and the fact that they have a 13% approval rating for the legislature. So let me ask you, as a resident of this county, would you prefer there be local control where people have been successful, have exercised good judgment, effective leadership, or would you rather have Sacramento calling the shots when they're just in chaos? It's absolute chaos. And one of the things that the city was very mindful of is the fact that there are opportunities for us to stretch taxpayer dollars through the bidding process and the awarding of contracts, design to build contracts, those sorts of arrangements. We went to the unions early on and said, look, if it's a joint funded project, if any of the funding comes from a state or federal source, it must be awarded to a prevailing wage contractor. However, if it's city-only money, we want the opportunity, we want the flexibility for that to be awarded to non-prevailing wage contractors. And they said, okay, we can live with that.
Mm-hmm. Good. Just a couple more questions. There's going to be, allegedly, a skate park kind of aquatic center here in our neighborhood, actually.
Right. Richard, where's the pictures there? I brought you pictures.
What is the timeline of this? We hear a lot of people in the community that are concerned that it's actually going to get done. When's it going to get done? What kind of light can you shed on that?
Yeah.
And your thoughts of this project?
Right. Remember, it's going to occur in stages as the funding comes available. But we're going to start with the demolition of the plunge probably within the next, I would say, couple of months. Plunge is coming down. And so then the first thing that will go up is the indoor sports complex. The funding has been secured for that through a variety of funding sources. So the indoor sports complex, we're going to rehabilitate and continue to be able to use the Conrad Harrison gym. And then the skate park, which we're hoping, again, a public-private partnership will be successful in coming to fruition in that area. And then the next component of that complex will be the aquatic center.
What kind of timeline are we talking for the whole thing? Any ideas?
If I had a crystal ball and could tell you what the economy is going to look like 4 or 5 years from now, I would say we have the indoor sports complex up and running within the next year, 18 months would be my guess. The aquatics facility, I think it depends on what kind of bells and whistles we're looking at. Do we want the junior Olympic size swim pool plus the lazy river, or are we going to be satisfied with a competitive lap pool? Or part of it's going to be on the scope. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say, ask me in 4 years, and let's hope that we're close to getting everything wrapped up. How's that?
Okay, that's good. That's good. Final question. This is one where you can kind of speak directly to people, but it has to do with us and them. And why should people vote for you for another term? And while answering that, you'll also answer hopefully why the newspaper should endorse you as well.
I walk the walk, I talk the talk, I get results. We have probably one of the most well-functioning, diverse, result-oriented, visionary councils that I've ever had the pleasure of serving with. I truly believe that the results speak for themselves. If you look at what we've been able to accomplish in the last 4 years and what we have in place for the next decade, the results speak for themselves. When you have a team that is working that well together, keep it in place. As long as the results are there, as long as there's that accountability, that accessibility, keep them in place. And the analogy I like to use, Brad, is if you think of crew, and I was on the crew team at the University of Washington, if you think of crew, the team that wins is the one that's working in perfect unison, perfect harmony, with a shared goal, a shared endpoint, and they're moving in a straight line, and they're all working together. And that's what this community has right now in the city council, the staff, the community, our greater elected officials. We are on their radar. We can pick up the phone. Here's city council members right now. I had lunch yesterday with Mary Salas, Assemblywoman Mary Salas, who's looking to run for Denise Ducheney's job. All of us have those contacts. We could call up Bob Filner. Hey, Bob, this is what we need you to focus on. So I would say that would be the number one reason. Number two reason, and it's something that hasn't gotten probably any attention, but is really, really important. City of El Centro owns El Centro Regional Medical Center. And it's one of those situations almost where it's a tail wagging the dog, because the El Centro Regional Medical Center has 4 times as many employees. Their budget is much larger than the city. The constituency, of course, it extends beyond this valley. There are 2 city council members that sit on that board of trustees. I'm currently the president of the board of trustees at El Centro Regional. I have 7 years of hospital experience. You all know, being in the business that you're in, that health care is the number one concern, certainly the number one priority. And I think that what we would want, again, have the leadership in place that has demonstrated results, that has that corporate knowledge, and actually is doing very well. We have historic excess margins at the hospital, meaning that our revenue over expenses, in this unprecedented time, at our historic highs. We're moving forward with projects. We're moving forward with community outreach. Our diabetes and asthma outreach, phenomenally successful in an area where those are 2 real concerns for parents and others. Have a dynamic leadership team in place at the hospital. And again, I think that if people are doing the job that they're elected to do, and they're doing it well, you keep them in place and you stay the course.